'Tis I. Hey everyone, glad to see you back, glad to see you looking fresh. So, with Jujutsu Kaisen 0 tearing it up ever since it came out last December, and Demon Slayer: The Mugen Train being the highest grossing film of 2020, it is safe to say that anime films as a whole have really grown in popularity and really exploded in terms of popular consciousness. So, I propose the question, are they just getting more popular, or is there perhaps a reason why they're getting more popular? Are they perhaps getting better? I know you're thinking immediately, well, Dan, no, maybe they aren't just getting better. Like, let's look at Studio Ghibli for a minute. A illustrious career over decades worth of beautiful films that people love and adore. They're not really doing much right now. Now, of course, to say they're doing nothing is wrong. About a year ago, we had the not-so-great Earwig and the Witch. But we have the great Hayao Miyazaki making another film that we all could sit and look forward to. But that's not exactly what I'm talking about here. And again, with other anime originals, we have your Hoshidas and your Shinkais making incredible films that we all look forward to greatly. Again, not exactly what I'm talking about here. When I'm talking about our anime films getting better, I'm really talking about films based on television shows. You know, something we don't really get here in the West all that often anymore. I feel like it used to happen more. Like your X-Files and even Breaking Bad over here, we had television shows that really broke through the popular consciousness and really became such big deals that films were made in that franchise. And this is really blowing up in Japan, and we're seeing a lot of different movies come out of our favorite franchises. Now again, this isn't a new concept. Stuff like your One Piece, Naruto's, Dragon Balls, you know, your big shonen franchises all have films that go back decades. But only now are we really seeing the big boom of what can be done in this medium that builds off of what has been made already. Now, with the anime boom of the last decade or so, we have seen production design and all this funding go up a lot. And we've seen a lot of talent go into a lot of these efforts. And it really shows. Let's start with the My Hero film. The first couple seasons of My Hero, up until season 3, I think are some of the most accessible, entertaining, exciting show you can see. Now, when the film started to come out, a lot of people say that's where the show started to take a bit of a slope. It kind of plateaued in quality, and it hasn't really been as popular since. But the movies themselves are really great. The animation is clean, the action is fun, the stories are fun. But those films aren't canon. That's a big word here. That is going to be a big point in this discussion. Does being canon immediately make it better? No. Flat out, it does not immediately make it better. It does immediately make it feel more important, though. Goblin Slayer, you know, not nearly as popular as My Hero, and, you know, a show that has a lot of elements that people hate, and a show that deals with a very disgusting subject. And if you're not a fan of this topic, I'm sorry, just skip forward to the next chunk here. The Goblin Slayer movie, while building off a little bit of what the show had done, it wasn't exactly great. It was a lot of recap, and the show had already been delayed enough, and it's been a long time since season 1 that when the movie came out, fans really wanted something new, and they didn't get a lot new. So just because it was the next chapter doesn't exactly mean it was what everybody wanted. On the opposite side of that, had a very similar name, Demon Slayer, did the complete opposite of that. Demon Slayer was a show that season 1 was a cultural smash. You know, the manga is sold incredibly well. It has broken through like crazy. It is a phenomenon. It came out, of course, in a very tumultuous time. The movie was actually great. It actually fed off of what the first season built up to. So the first season left on a cliffhanger, it set up the next arc, and the movie was exactly that. It wasn't half of it was recap, and then we got it. No, it started as soon as season 1 ended, and then it ran from there. And it was great, and people took notice. Look at this. This really worked. And it becoming the biggest film of 2020 really helped cement it in, hey, this kind of format really seems to be working. Go forward to now. Jujutsu Kaisen 0 came out in Japan in late December, but it just recently came over here in America, and it has been doing really well. I'm not talking it's making hundreds of millions of dollars, but when it premieres, sitting next to The Batman. The Batman, Jujutsu Kaisen 0, 1, and 2 in the box office. That's a really exciting sight to see. And again, it's a canon story. It's a prequel, but it's connected. Not to say that other anime films aren't, but like, this matters. This film matters to the bigger story. And Jujutsu Kaisen 0, I hope, is starting a pattern for what we have forward this year alone. Now let's take a moment now and see what we have coming out. Immediately my mind goes to that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Now this is the only one I don't know if it's canon or not. I think it will be. But the action and the world building and the set pieces of the show are already big, and seeing it even bigger with more funding, it sounds phenomenal. Excellent choice there. Odd Taxi, one of the best shows of last year that if you have not seen, please go check it out. It recently got a dub, so if that's what you're holding out for. Also getting a movie. Also cannot wait to see what happens with that. That show ended on a cliffhanger. I can't wait to see what they do with that world, because it is such a weird, interesting world that wherever they go with it, I'm excited to see. Quintessential quintuplets. I'm no better than anyone else here when I'm talking about a rom-com anime like this. I want to see how this story ends, okay? I've been invested. I want to see what happens. This is another show that has been built on, like, someone is getting married. And I want to know who is getting married, okay? And the fourth film, near and dear to my heart now at this point, is a new Dragon Ball film. The new art style that I'm still not sold on, unfortunately, is not canon. Dragon Ball has proven with the Broly film that being canon and building off of what fans want to see and immediately flowing in perfectly can result in some of the best that this medium has to offer. The Broly film, I adore. I've talked about it at length before, and I will continue to spew its praises. So that's why I'm more questioning on Superhero. I'm still looking forward to it nonetheless, but just to say outright that I'm expecting greatness or I'm expecting Broly level quality, I'm not. That was where our discussion goes, is while we have a lot more to look forward to than we used to, question of quality comes into play here. You know, looking back, we still have a couple movies here and there, like the oddball One Piece film or Naruto film, or even like some of the old Dragon Ball films. Like I said, those mainstay shonen franchises have had one-off really fun movies. Well, not really mattering. The Pokemon films, I adore Pokemon 3 from a nostalgic point. A lot of people really enjoyed the first movie. Like, that's still one of the highest grossing anime films of all time. While the plot of that show doesn't really matter, the movies don't help it at all. They don't really push anything forward. But that's another franchise that the last Pokemon movie that came out actually wasn't too bad. The animation was fluid and fun. It's not a movie I'm going to go back and watch, probably. It was pleasant enough one time through. Even some other shows, Konosuba rings true. Like, I think the Konosuba movie is more fun than the show is. And I really like the show. We're here at a point where this medium is blowing up even more than we expected it to. And I am more and more and more excited continuously to think about what is coming. And the shows that I love now could end up being the movies I love tomorrow. And that's where we're going to end it. Please let me know which of these films you're looking forward to, which shows deserve a film, or any other continuation. I know there's a couple. There's a couple that ring to mind for me as well. That'll about do it for me. Thank you so very much for watching. And as always, like this if you like this, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you at some point.